All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the We Book It podcast. Let's start the show.
Everybody, and welcome to another edition of Monday Night Raw Dog. I am your host, Coach, and I am joined by a very special guest, being my producer tonight, filling in for Big Daddy C. We have the man that started this whole thing, the We Book It podcast. It is the man, Virgil.
Hello, good evening, gents, ladies. Appreciate you, Coach, for having me on your show. I'm excited to talk about an electric Monday Night Raw. I really think it was good booking. Very, very good matches, and the talent felt like they had something to prove. So I'm ready to get down to business and talk about it.
All right, then let's just jump right into it. This is the go-home show before Backlash this Saturday, right down here in St. Louis, Missouri. And we kick it off in Omaha with the World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso coming into the ring. He starts out just by, calling out his opponent, Logan Paul, but it is only interrupted by the wise man, Paul Heyman, who comes out, gives a very passionate promo about how he's justifying his actions against CM Punk, who put him in an impossible position, and how he was tired of being with the self-centered tribal chief Roman Reigns. And with that, he turned his attention to Jey Uso. And he says, phase one of the plan was to get Braun Breaker. Phase two is to get Seth Rollins that World Heavyweight Championship. And he, on behalf of Seth Rollins, tells Jey Uso, we are challenging you. You just name the time and the place, to which Jey Uso said, let's do it tonight, and thus setting us up for the main event of the evening. And quite a shock, honestly, that we are getting a World Heavyweight Championship match the week of Backlash, and especially against Seth Rollins, who everyone is thinking, oh, well, shoot, this might be it for Jey. This could be a short run, and it's going to be Seth versus Logan Paul at Backlash, or they're going to make it a triple threat. But either way, it was a really great segment. One of my favorite things was Uso criticizing Heyman for turning his back on Roman Reigns, and to which Paul Heyman responded with, you did it long before I did, which I thought was a great callback. And, of course, the pop for Jey Uso. He's so over right now. Virgil, what do you think, man?
Oh, yeah, man. No, all time, probably one of the best starts to Monday Night Raw of the year so far. Really love the interaction. Anytime the wise man has a microphone in his hand, you know it's going to be money, especially when he's coming out and he's either selling a match or putting over a match or starting up another feud. But for me, I thought that the crash out from Paul Heyman was legit, man. It was hilarious. It was great. And it was justified because everything Paul Heyman said is true. I love this era of realism that we have in WWE now, where the lines are blurred between good and bad. And it's just truth. You know, truth is finite. It is what it is. And you can't deny the truth. The truth is, Paul Heyman is right. Roman Reigns put him in a bad spot when all he was trying to do was help out Roman Reigns. All he was trying to do was make sure that Solo's bloodline did not take over and win War Games. He knew Roman Reigns' bloodline could not beat those five guys, especially with somebody like Jacob Fatu. So he knew they needed a fifth member, so he called on his friend. And then his friend put him in a bad spot because his friend knew the tribal chief would not go for him representing him at WrestleMania. So again, CM Punk is a bad friend, and Roman Reigns is a bad tribal chief. Point blank, period. they both put Paul Heyman in precarious positions. So Paul Heyman did what was best for him and got with somebody that is going to look out for him.
Yeah, well said. Well said. So as we get ready for our first match of the evening, it is Penta versus JD McDonough, and it's just another in the latest rivalry for Penta. And I'll tell you what, not even interference from Finn Balor, Carlito, or even Chad Gable could stop Penta from getting this victory. Pretty quality match. Love the Mexican Destroyer from Penta. But it's
Win
interesting.
with the Mexican Destroyer.
Yes. It's interesting that they're kind of pitting him in two different rivalries, and I like it. You have him with the rivalry with the Judgment Day, and then you also have him with the rivalry with American Made, especially after El Grande Americano beat his brother at WrestleMania. So it's very intriguing the routes they're going to go with this, and I think that's a really good thing. But as this match was over, we find out later in the night that Penta will be challenging Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship at Backlash. So that is added to the card now. And so that's exciting. But another part added to it is the lack of help from Finn Balor, leaving his teammates high and dry to get caught by the referee and ejected from ringside. It's looking like the days for Finn Balor are numbered, and we're just waiting. We're just waiting for that eventual breakup with this. So they're just going to keep teasing us, and I wouldn't be surprised if the breakup comes as soon as Saturday at Backlash.
It's time. It's time for the breakup. Can't wait for it to happen. It's going to be money. I even love the little, I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here, but I even love the little segment in the back where AJ Styles sees the Prince. He's like, "What's up, Prince?" I'm like, "Oh man, like, come on, dude. Don't tease me with some Bullet Club vibes here, man."
Mm-hmm. Oh, if only. If only. Then we get to our next match. Well, actually, I should say we start with a backstage segment with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Now, Waller was talking about last week how he scheduled a singles match for himself, but to which Theory was like, "Oh, I didn't know you were doing that." Well, it turns out Waller doesn't want to go for the match, so he's going to send Theory out instead, and we don't know the opponent until that Celtic Warrior music hits and Sheamus is back, and he gets a easy victory over Austin Theory. This was a good match to get Sheamus back into the swing of things, but also develops a storyline of Theory and Waller going for the eventual breakup. But the steam for this is way past. It's about 6 months too late for the interest in this story, if I'm being honest. I was interested. Now it's just like, okay, they're just going to keep teasing. And I really don't think if they had pulled the trigger sooner, I think the fans would have gotten on board with Theory being a babyface. I don't think they can get to that now. I think it's lost its luster unless Waller does something devious to Theory to where because people love to hate Waller, and that's what he's great at. So if he can do something devious to Theory, maybe you can get him back on Theory's side, but I don't know. It just wasn't. It's just way past time for this, and it's unfortunate because I really thought there was a lot of potential in that. But like I said, 6 months too late. Real quick before we get your thoughts, Virgil, on this match, I also want to add in a backstage promo real quick from one Karrion Kross, and where the crowd is really starting to buy in, and he's basically lays out the line, "The devil you know versus the devils you don't," was beautifully used at the end of his promo, and he's calling his fans the bad guys, something that the crowd is really going to eat up. So I think it was a short and simple promo to keep the momentum for Karrion Kross going. So Virgil, what do you think of the match and Kross's promo?
Match wise, I'm with it. Like I said, good for Sheamus. I feel sorry for Austin Theory. Austin Theory had all the potential in the world under the Vince McMahon administration. But under the Paul Levesque era, he is nothing more than a jobber. I do not suspect him to be with the company within a year. I would be shocked if he's still with the company in a year. The next round of cuts, Austin Theory's name might be on that list, and I'm not wishing that on him. I'm just saying, like, you know, he needs to go find himself. Like I said, I mean, the generic glasses, the muscles, like I said, the haircut, the smile, the fake veneers. We've seen all that before. Go find yourself. Go find who you really can be. Maybe go find a character that will work for you and that will get you over with the fans. Because right now, I mean, I don't know who you're supposed to be. Like I said, I really don't know who you're supposed to be. So, he's one of those WWE made type of superstars that needs a character to be able to have something that you could buy into and something that you can grow with and enjoy. And he just doesn't have that right now. Doesn't have that. And that's unfortunate for him because I do think he has all the potential in the world. He definitely has a look that is like he'll stand out in the crowd.
Right.
He's distinct. Like I said, he's a handsome man. Pause. But he's also, like I said, but he's also like jacked to the gills, man. And he could really be something. But he has to find himself and give me something to make me believe in him. As far as the promo from Karrion, like I said, everything he touches is gold right now. I know this is WWE's attempt to try to get him to sign another contract with them. I know Triple H does not want him walking out the door again because this is one Tony Khan will scoop up in a heartbeat if he does want to go that way. But I kind of hope he doesn't. And I hope he does stay with WWE. And like I said, I mean, guys like CM Punk, guys like Seth Rollins are going to have to speak up for him to Triple H and get in his ear and be like, what are you doing? Like, I want to work with him. Like a CM Punk versus Karrion Kross rivalry would be amazing. The matches would be great. And on top of that, the promos would be even better.
Oh, yeah, the promos would be fantastic with those two. I 100% agree. So then we move on to our next segment, which is a preview of our Women's Intercontinental Championship match this Saturday as Becky Lynch comes into the ring and basically berates the fans for booing her, took credit for Lyra's success, and even said that at WrestleMania, took out the trash, meaning Bayley at WrestleMania, and the recycling the next night, who was Lyra, which Lyra then came out to defend herself, which I want to say these two lines that from Lyra because I thought they were fantastic. To Becky, you're the queen of recycling. You've been recycling the same moves and the same tired act for years. Love it.
Ouch.
And I've defended this title more days than you've come to work this year. Love it.
Oof. Ouch.
So,
but true.
But very true. Both very true, in my opinion. Crowd was behind Lyra. The scrum ensued. Lyra came out on top. So unfortunately, in the world of WWE, we all know whoever stands tall before the pay-per-view is going to lose. So Lynch will probably win gold this Saturday. However, I am still looking forward to it because this should be a very, very solid match. Could be a show stealer at Backlash with these two, with the chemistry these two share. Virgil, what'd you think?
Whoa. Yeah, no. Shout out to Lyra Valkyria. This was the first promo of hers that really stood out to me and made me actually remember her name. I'm very thankful for that because it's high time for her to get some time on the mic and to get a feud where she can actually sink her teeth into. I look at Lyra, I look at Zelina Vega, I look at the superstars like them as this new generation of talent that has to really come and make their mark and show who they're going to be. And I don't mean new generation as in they like only been wrestling 2 or 3 years. I mean, like, they're supposed to be the people that are supposed to come up. They're the next generation of Becky, Charlotte, Bayley, Trinity. You know, like I said, those type of superstars that, you know, pretty soon here are gonna like really fade and become part-timers all the time, you know, which I mean, really, when you think about it, Bayley is probably the most full-time out of any of those ladies that we've seen. But I mean, Becky's ran her race. You know, it's all gravy from here on out from her from now. She's done everything you could possibly do in this business. She's held every single title. There's nothing for her to do outside of put over young talent. So with that being said, I do not think she should win the Intercontinental Championship. However, like I said, with what you said, I agree 1,000%. On the Go Home show, if you go over on the Go Home show, that's almost a telltale sign that you're going to end up losing your title at the pay-per-view. Which, I mean, doesn't mean she won't win it back. But like I said, WWE and Triple H especially loves Becky Lynch. And for her to be an IC champion, I think will mean a lot for the belt. And then, of course, she's going to end up feuding with Bayley for that belt, which I think Bayley will end up beating her for it. So probably at SummerSlam.
Yes, I would agree with that. All right, we get to our next match, which is Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez. And Perez continued to show why she is nicknamed the Prodigy and really held her own against Io Sky. Thought this was more of a psychological wrestling match from both of them, and I really, really appreciate that kind of style. In the end, Io Sky got the win, and you know, even after the bell, you could see Perez was showing some respect to Io, trying to sucker her in, and then that's when Julia came in and took out Io's legs, and then a beatdown ensued. Rhea was not there because Rhea is in Australia promoting WWE's return to Australia for Crown Jewel. That's coming to Australia in October. So Io had no backup, and that was the end of that segment. You know, I said this last week. I think I was very confused why Julia and Roxanne were being paired together. But then after this week, I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I understand where they're coming from. They're combining together to go up against two enemies that they both don't like. I get it now, and I'm all for it. And this will eventually lead to the tag match, which is not happening at Backlash like we thought it would. It is actually happening next Monday on Raw. It was Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky versus Julia and Roxanne Perez in a tag team matchup.
A tag team match, player.
You're going one-on-one with the Undertaker, player.
Tag team match, player.
Virgil, what'd you think of this match?
Man. Again, Roxanne Perez is still having her coming out party, guys. If God loves us and loves wrestling, he will have AJ Lee come back at WrestleMania and answer a challenge from Roxanne Perez. Like, literally, I look at Roxanne Perez and she reminds me of watching AJ Lee. It's uncanny how much she reminds me of her. She should have played AJ Lee instead of Zelina Vega in Paige's movie. Seriously, because like she just everything about her reminds me of AJ Lee. And like her style, her in-ring style, she's smaller, she's tiny, but she's a firecracker. And like she can really wrestle. You get her in the ring and she can really wrestle. Obviously, you know, Io Sky is over like Rover right now as your women's world champion. She beat Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. And like I said, I just, you know, I look at these two women and I look at the future. I look at somebody who is now and in 3 to 4 years, somebody that is going to be right there with Tiffany, you know, doing their thing. I'm loving the youth movement on Raw and what I'm seeing from these younger stars. Loving what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you. I think the youth movement is strong, and it's especially helping in the women's division, which was kind of lacking on Raw for a little bit.
Yep.
Now it's starting to
Yep.
pick up
The women's
pace.
division,
Yes.
and the tag division on Raw need help.
Yes, agreed. 100%. So now we go to our next match, which is the return of Rusev as he takes on
Rusev.
Otis, his first match in WWE since February 17th of 2020. That is crazy to think
Wow.
about.
We're old.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna be honest. This was an extended squash match. Like Otis held his own, but I mean everyone knew it was coming, and Rusev put him in the accolade. Otis taps. Tozawa tried to get in to stand up for his friend, puts him in another accolade, and Adam Pearce comes out to break everything up. Not I'm not mad at this. Not mad at how they presented this. Good way to reintroduce Rusev. I mean, everyone remembers the accolade as one of the most fierce things, one of the fierce submission holds of the mid 2010s of that era. So I think it's good to bring that reminiscence back as he progresses forward. And he's going to get his push. Now, whether that it looks like it's probably going to be a mid card push, possibly, or
I'm
maybe
mad about it.
Yeah, or it's going to be a world heavy. It's going to be a main event push. But I think they're going to stay with the mid card right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if the crowd reacts the way they have been so far if he's bumped up to the main event spot. And again, got to give credit to Otis. He's a workhorse for him, and hopefully he gets his flowers one day because the crowd still is in love with him.
I mean, it's hard not to love Otis. Let's just put it out there like that. He's great. What I would tell you is I can't wait for Rusev versus Bronson Reed. I think that match has money written all over it. Coach, I'm telling you, I think that those two together, especially since the fans are all hyped for Bronson Reed, I damn near want to hop on the We Book It wrestling Twitter right now and just be like, Bronson Reed, tag Bronson Reed and be like, Bronson, you versus Rusev is gonna be money. It needs to happen at SummerSlam, Survivor Series, wherever. I don't care. It needs to happen. But those two big meaty men slapping meat is gonna be amazing.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, we get to our next segment, which is Pat McAfee and Gunther going face to face before their match Saturday at Backlash. And Gunther comes out kind of somber, not really interested. And McAfee runs his mouth basically saying Gunther's not focused, saying that he's gone soft. Even throws in a Walter reference from NXT UK, which I thought was genius. But that only awakened Gunther, and he closes out his promo by saying, Saturday, only by the grace of God will I lift my arms off of your throat. And not
weird promo.
I liked it. It makes me curious to see how much McAfee's going to go through with this match, like how much he's going to get beat up with this, how many bumps he's going to take. I find this part, that's the part I find very, very interesting. I still think Gunther's going to pull off the victory here, but it might have been a quicker match if if this promo didn't happen.
Okay.
Now I think it's going to be a very methodical match for Gunther really going to town on McAfee.
Yeah, I can obviously definitely agree with you on that. I think that McAfee's mouth just wrote a check that his ass can't cash. And I think Gunther's going to punish him, just like I wanted Gunther to punish Jey Uso. But I understand. I get the big picture vision. WrestleMania wasn't about Gunther necessarily dominating Jey and Jey looking weak. They actually wanted to make Jey Uso look powerful, look strong, and look believable as a World Heavyweight Champion. They didn't want to give him the Rey Mysterio underdog complex. They really wanted you to believe like he deserves and earned and can go toe-to-toe with Gunther in the ring and make it believable. Now, whether you believe it or not is a different story. However, I mean, it happened. But like I said, for this match that's coming up, I want Gunther to beat the living hell out of Pat McAfee, so much that Pat McAfee misses Monday Night Raw the next week. And literally, the only reason why Pat McAfee might win the match is because Goldberg comes out and spears Rusev. Comes out of the crowd, spears Rusev. And then, like I said, and then like Pat McAfee literally has to crawl over, bloodied, beaten, battered, crawl over and put his arm over Rusev, and that's how he gets a win.
Gunther.
Oh, damn it, Gunther. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm saying Rusev. Sorry, y'all. I got Rusev on the brain. Rusev. My bad, man.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay, so that takes us to our main event of the evening. It is a World Heavyweight Championship match between Jey Uso and Seth Rollins. Rollins comes out to the ring with Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman by his side. Jey surprisingly comes through the back instead of coming through the crowd, but I guess he already did that earlier in the evening. But I did like that kind of touch for Jey, that when it's match time, he gets all locked in and serious. At the beginning, it looked like kind of a show of respect on both of them, but then as the match progressed, it became more of Rollins getting angry and determined, Jey holding his own. Really loved the spot where Jey went for the spear and Rollins countered with a pedigree, the same thing that he did to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, only for it to be a 2 count. And just a lot of near falls in this match that I really thought it made you believe that there was the possibility. If the matchup already didn't give you belief that there could be a title change, what these guys did in the ring really kept you on the edge of your seats. And it started with Braun Breaker interfering and spearing, or I'm sorry, not spearing Jey, but knocking him off the turnbuckle.
Yep.
Rollins counters with a stomp or counters with the Falcon Arrow and the stomp, and not just like a weak stomp, like it was a firm connection stomp, and you're like, shoot, that's it. That's game. That's game over. Like it's gonna be Rollins versus Logan Paul at Backlash, but Jey kicks out. That I live for that kind of stuff in wrestling.
Those false finishes.
Yes, I live for those. I love them. I love it when you keep me on the edge of my seat. After that happens, disbelief between Breaker and Heyman. Rollins goes to Breaker to kind of tell him what the next move is, only for Sami Zayn's music to hit. Breaker's waiting for him to come down the ramp, but Zayn comes through the crowd and attacks Breaker, leading Jey to hit a spear on Rollins, hits an Uso splash, goes for the cover. 1, 2, Rollins kicks out.
Ooh.
And again, loved it because it makes you think, okay, that's it. Like Jey's got this. He's going to retain. And then Rollins kicks out and you go, crap, maybe not. Maybe they are going to do a title change. And with all that, Jey goes out to check on Sami. And then because of that, because Braun Breaker gets up, spears Sami. And then when Jey goes to check on him, Braun then spears Jey, throws him back into the ring, to which Rollins Rollins hits another stomp, but is very slow to go to the cover, only for CM Punk's music to hit. And he comes out with a chair, throws it at Breaker, kicks him in the head, then starts beating Rollins and Breaker with a chair, leading to a disqualification. So Jay is the victor and wins the match and retains. Well, actually, I take that back. Actually, Rollins technically won. Because he wasn't the one that caused the disqualification. So Rollins did win. However, because of the disqualification, Uso retained the title. But at the end, it was Breaker, Rollins, and Heyman glaring back into the ring with Punk, Sammy, and Jay looking on as well, looking fierce and ready to go at it. And that ended one great go-home show for Monday Night Raw before a pay-per-view. Something it seems we were lacking this year a little bit so far for these pay-per-views. Beside, I mean, even WrestleMania, the go-home for WrestleMania was kind of, I mean, it was all right. It wasn't anything great, but this one, I felt it on this one.
This Monday Night Raw might actually be better than Backlash. That's the crazy part about it.
You're right.
Like, it might actually end up being better than Backlash because of the way it was booked, the matches on, and the way these talent just came out and performed and did what they had to do, man. Kudos to them. Like I said, this was a pleasure to watch. I obviously I want C to feel better, but I could not have picked a better Monday Night Raw to be in his place. Because, like I said, I just really enjoyed this Monday Night Raw, and I was happy to come talk about it with you because it was a really good show, man. It was a really good show. One of the better Monday Night Raws of the year so far, I would say. Yeah,
100%. I would say the only thing to top it would be the Raw after WrestleMania.
Yep.
But either way, fantastic show tonight for Monday Night Raw. And that is going to wrap things up for us here on this edition of Monday Night Raw, Dog.
And wait, hold on. Coach, one thing you forgot, though, I just hopped on Twitter. After the show went off the air, Logan Paul was in the crowd. Jey Uso was going around shaking hands with everybody that was in the front row. And Logan Paul was in the crowd, popped up and snaked him and knocked him clean on his ass. Yep.
Well,
so and then he took off through the crowd before CM Punk and Sami Zayn could get to him.
Well, at least Jay's retaining now, so that's good news.
Absolutely. WWE booking, you know how it goes.
I gotta love it. It's the same booking no matter how old it gets.
Absolutely. Sorry, go ahead and continue with your close.
No, you're good, man. So if this is your first time watching, first off, thanks for joining us. But also, please remember to share, like, subscribe to our content. We are on Twitch. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You just name it. We're probably on it. So please
we book it.
Yeah, we book it. Like, share, subscribe, and also comment. If you like what you see, comment about it. We'll keep showing it more to you. If you want us to talk about something else, we'll talk about it. Just let us know. If you hate what you see, well, sorry about you. We're probably going to keep doing it, but we
Definitely
appreciate the feedback.
Definitely going to keep doing it.
Yeah. So, but anyways, thank you all for watching. For Virgil, I am Coach, and we will see you next week on the Raw after Backlash after this Saturday in St. Louis, Mo. We'll see you next week.